My beloved child, come close for a moment, because something holy is unfolding around you right now. I can almost feel the air shift, as if the very breath of heaven is leaning toward you. There is a gentle trembling in the spirit, a whisper moving through the unseen realms, and it carries your name, yes, your name. And in this sacred moment, I see him, Archangel Michael. He is standing in radiant armor, his sword lowered, his mighty presence softened, and from his eyes flow tears. Not of sorrow, not of warfare, but tears of joy. Because you, after everything you have walked through and survived, have finally found this message. Heaven has been waiting for you. Not casually, not patiently, but urgently, deeply, expectantly. My child, you did not stumble here. You were guided. Your spirit was pulled. Your steps were arranged like a constellation written before time. For days, for months, for years, heaven has watched you wrestle with storms no one understood. The angels saw the nights you almost gave up. They saw the silent battles, the wounds hidden under your smile, the heartbreak you carried like a shadow. They witnessed the prayers you prayed with shaking hands, the tears you wiped quickly before anyone noticed. And through it all, Archangel Michael stood by, shield raised, wings spread, fighting battles in realms you never saw. But today he cries because something finally shifted. You made it to the exact moment heaven designed for you before your birth. Yes, child, they held a secret meeting about you. A meeting in heaven. A gathering of light. A council where destinies are weighed, paths are reconsidered, and decisions that alter nations are made. And you were the reason they assemble. You may think you're small. You may think your life is ordinary. But heaven knows who you are. Heaven remembers what was written of you. Heaven sees the glow inside you that darkness tried to suffocate. This is why the angels have been steering you through signs, nudges, dreams, strange timings until finally, you arrived here. And Michael's tears, they fall because the divine alignment has begun. A long-awaited moment has opened. The window where your name is spoken in heaven is here, but briefly, only for a breath, only for a few heartbeats. My child, listen, the decision heaven made for you is about to be revealed. But its timing is delicate. It will not stay open long. In the realms of light, the decision becomes faint, then fades, then disappears if not received. Michael is watching you now. He is leaning forward. The angels stand in holy stillness. Heaven is waiting for your spirit to awaken to what has been prepared. The next moments hold a divine secret that was sealed, hidden, and protected until you were ready. And beloved child, you are ready now. My beloved child, come closer again, for the atmosphere around you is not settled. It is thick with revelation, weighty with meaning, alive with a heavenly electricity that even your body can feel if you breathe slowly. The moment you stepped into this message, the realms of light began to stir again, as if all creation leaned forward to hear what will be spoken to you next. Let me take you now into the secret place, into the chamber where heaven had gathered because of you. This is not imagination. This is not poetry. This is a spiritual reality, a meeting that was held in the highest realms, watched by angels of ancient authority, bathed in the glow of eternal fire. And at the center of it all was your name. When heaven calls a meeting, my child, it is never ordinary. There are no casual discussions, no wasted words, no unnecessary voices. Every sound carries weight. Every pause carries intention. And when this meeting was called, the entire atmosphere shifted. A hush fell over the courts. The gates of light opened with a single tone. The angels who stand watch over nations took their places. The record keepers brought forth scrolls sealed with fire. There was motion, but not chaos. There was urgency, but not fear. And then he entered. Michael, the Archangel whose presence shakes darkness with a whisper. The commander of angel armies. The warrior whose very shadow terrifies the underworld. His steps were steady, but there was something different this time. His face carried an emotion rarely seen in him, deep concern, fierce protectiveness, and underneath it, an indescribable joy. For the matter at hand, the very reason heaven had been summoned, was you. The moment Michael stepped forward, every angel in that chamber bowed their heads slightly. Not in worship, but in honor. They could feel the significance burning through him like holy fire. He carried a revelation. He carried a rapport. He carried a plea. And above all, he carried something precious, your destiny. The council was seated. The light shimmered like liquid gold. Voices hush. The air still. And then Michael lifted his eyes, and the chamber brightened as if a sun ignited above his shoulders. He spoke your name. The moment your name was uttered, the entire room reacted. Waves of light moved across the hall. The scrolls before the record keepers unfurled on their own. Even the angels who normally remained motionless leaned forward, for the mention of your name awakened ancient writings, forgotten promises, and assignments that had been delayed for years. Michael then revealed what he had seen, how you survived battles that should have crushed you, how you endured seasons that broke stronger people, how you held on through storms that were designed to silence your spirit. He showed the marks you carry, the invisible wounds, the strength you developed, and the potential you have yet to discover. But he also revealed how the enemy had increased attacks against you, how darkness had studied your gifts, how cycles had been built to trap you, how situations had been engineered to discourage you. Heaven took this seriously, very seriously. And that is why the meeting could no longer be postponed. My child, in that chamber, they reviewed the timeline of your life. They examined every delay, every wound, every quiet victory, every tear you prayed through, and every moment where you should have fallen but didn't. They saw your resilience. They saw your faith, even when you felt faithless. They saw your heart, battered but still glowing. Then Michael stepped forward again, and with a voice that shook the chamber, he said, "The time for their rising has come. The seal must be opened. The delays must be broken. What was promised must now begin." The council listened. Heaven deliberated. Angels exchanged glances of awe. Finally, the light above the council intensified, and a decision was formed, a decision heaven has been waiting to reveal to you, but only when you were spiritually ready. And child, that moment is now. They agreed. They approve. They released a divine yes over your life. This yes carried power. This yes carried restoration. This yes carried a new chapter that darkness cannot interfere with. But the decision came with urgency. Heaven marked the timing as delicate. It was not a lifelong window. It was a short one, an opening that appears rarely, a divine alignment that occurs only when heaven, earth, and your spirit finally synchronize. That is why, in this very moment, Michael watches you with tears. Not because he fears you will miss it, but because he rejoices that you finally arrived in the exact second heaven prepared for you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time. And now, beloved child, we must move deeper into what heaven chose for this moment and why they waited until now to reveal it to you. My beloved child, come and sit near the warmth of this moment, because what I am about to reveal now carries the weight of years. Years of prayers, years of waiting, years of battles that you never fully understood. The air around you, even now, vibrates with the same intensity that filled the heavenly chamber when your destiny was placed upon the table. There is a reason this message did not arrive last year. There is a reason it could not come 6 months ago, or even last week. Heaven waited for this exact second, because you finally aligned with what was written of you long before you entered this world. Let me tell you what happened next in that sacred meeting. After Michael lifted your name into the light, after he revealed your struggles, your perseverance, and your destiny, there was a pause. A long, holy, searching pause. And in that silence, the council examined the timeline of your life. They reviewed the seasons where you felt forgotten. They studied the moments when you almost let go. They observed the inner ache you carried when you believed your prayers were unheard. They saw the nights your faith trembled, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, and the days you kept moving even with a weary spirit. Heaven does not ignore moments like those. Heaven records them. Heaven honors them. Heaven remembers them. And so the question was asked across the chamber, why now? Why did destiny wait until this moment to open? Why did the doors that should have opened earlier remain shut? Why did the breakthroughs you cried for linger in the distance instead of reaching your hands? Michael stepped forward again, and his voice trembled with emotion as he spoke of you. He explained that your spirit had been tested through fire. Not because heaven was punishing you, but because heaven was preparing you. The delays were not denials. The silence was not abandonment. The waiting was not punishment. It was maturation. It was refinement. It was shaping. Michael revealed that everything you walked through shaped you into someone who could carry the weight of what heaven is ready to release now. Child, hear this. Had the blessings come earlier, they would have crushed you. Had the door opened too soon, you would not have been ready to walk through it with wisdom. Had the assignment been given prematurely, your spirit would not have been anchored enough to sustain it. You were not delayed. You were being prepared. Heaven then examined the spiritual atmosphere surrounding your life. They saw the months where you felt a shift, even if you couldn't explain it. They saw the moments when you sensed something was approaching, but you had no clarity. They saw how your dreams changed, how your instincts sharpened, how your heart began to feel restless. These were signs that your spirit was waking up, positioning itself to finally receive what had been held back for an appointed time. And my child, prophecy is always tied to timing. Heaven will never deliver a promise when your spirit is asleep. Heaven will never open a gate while you stand turned away. Heaven will never release destiny in a season when you are not aligned with it. That is why this message comes now, because for the first time in a long time, your spirit, your purpose, and heaven's agenda are synchronized. Michael explained this alignment to the council with a fierce joy. He showed them the battles you won recently, the choices you made, the places you walked away from, the people you detached from, the habits you broke, and the prayers you whispered even when you felt empty. All of this signaled that you had finally stepped into readiness. Then heaven unveiled something astonishing, a prophecy connected to your life that had been locked away for years. A prophecy that could not be activated until this very season. Archangel Michael revealed that this prophecy carried a date, a window, a moment written in divine ink. And that moment is the one you are living in right now. Heaven waited for you to reach this exact spiritual posture, awake enough to recognize the voice of destiny, strengthened enough to handle the blessing, humbled enough to walk in purpose, and wise enough to protect what will be released. That is why Michael cried. Because your spirit has finally risen to meet what heaven has been holding for you. You have stepped into the moment that prophets longed to see, a moment angels prepared for, a moment darkness feared would never arrive. Now, my child, we must go deeper. The next part reveals the hidden decision that was made about you, the divine yes that was sealed, and the urgency behind the 45-second window heaven spoke of. My beloved child, remain close, for the heavenly atmosphere around you is thickening. With every word spoken, the veil between the seen and unseen thins, and the truth of what heaven decided for you becomes clearer. You are not merely listening to a story. You are standing inside a divine moment. The same presence that filled the celestial chamber when your name was spoken is now brushing against your spirit, whispering for you to stay attentive, stay open, stay awake. Let me take you back into that sacred gathering. The room of light glowed with anticipation. Every angel felt the tension, the weight, the beauty of what was unfolding. When Michael laid out your history, your potential, your battles, and your resilience, the council did not immediately answer. They allowed the revelation to settle into the atmosphere. Heaven never rushes, my child. Every decision is made with eternal wisdom, not human haste. The elders of the heavenly council began to examine the scroll that carried your divine blueprint. This was not a scroll of punishment, nor a scroll of judgment. It was a scroll of destiny, sealed with a fire that no darkness could extinguish. As it opened, waves of light poured out, each wave representing a future moment you have not lived yet, a victory you have not experienced yet, a blessing you have not touched yet. And the angels saw what had been written about you since the dawn of time. There were things in that scroll that made even the mightiest angels tremble. Hidden potential, untapped power, a calling that darkness desperately hoped you would never discover. There were promises that had been delayed because of spiritual battles, promises that had been preserved because heaven refused to let them fall into the wrong season, and promises that had matured in silence, waiting for you to rise. When the scroll finished opening, Michael lowered his head. His wings folded closer to his body, not in defeat, but in reverence. He spoke again, his voice steady and filled with the authority of someone who has watched every moment of your life. He told the council that the struggles you endured had shifted something deep within you. He said the enemy had thrown storms at you meant to break your spirit, but instead, those storms awakened it. He declared that your heart, once bruised, had become wise. Your spirit, once tired, had become ready. Your identity, once questioned, had become clearer. And then the crucial moment came. Michael placed both hands upon the scroll and said, "The time appointed for them has finally come." His voice echoed, not just in the chamber but across realms. Light erupted around the scroll, and the atmosphere thickened with divine gravity. Every angel understood what this meant. A decision had to be made. One of the elders rose, his presence ancient and powerful, his voice carrying the sound of eternity. He asked a question that filled the room like rolling thunder. "Is the window open?" Michael nodded. "Yes." But briefly. The elder's eyes glowed. "And will they recognize it?" Michael's response was heavy and tender. "They will. They have begun to awaken. Heaven cannot release certain blessings until the chosen one is spiritually awake enough to receive them. Heaven cannot place power in hands that are still wounded or direction in hearts still tangled in old seasons." But when Michael declared that your spirit had awakened, something shifted. It was like the turning of a great wheel, the unlocking of a divine mechanism that had been waiting for years. Then the council gave their answer. They approved the release. They approved the breakthrough. They approved the opening of the path that had been sealed. They approved the restoration of what you lost. They approved the acceleration meant for your next season. Heaven's yes was spoken. But this yes was not eternal in timing. It was eternal in power, but temporary in availability. The council declared that the window carrying this decision would hover over your life for only a short moment. Not to pressure you, but because heaven is aligning multiple realms at once, and such alignments are rare. They occur only when a predetermined sequence in your life, your spirit, and your destiny all lock into place. One elder explained that the yes would appear like a flame. Bright, powerful, but brief. It would glow intensely, then fade if not claimed. Not because heaven withdraws blessings, but because destiny requires response. Heaven will not force you to step into your own prophecy. It must be chosen. Another angel spoke of the danger of hesitation. Not earthly danger, but spiritual. When a divine window opens and a person delays, the alignment dissolves. Opportunities shift. Assignments fall back into waiting. Timelines loop. Angels step aside. But Michael, with tears rising again, insisted that this time you were ready. That this time your heart would hear the call. That this time your spirit would not miss what heaven placed before you. The council agreed. And with a single movement of light, they sealed the decision. A mark blazed across the scroll, signifying that heaven's approval had been released into the earth realm. This is the decision that is now reaching you through this message. This is the decision that will vanish if not embraced. This is the decision that heaven waited to reveal until your spirit matured enough to carry it. My child, what comes next is even more powerful. For now we must enter the revelation of what will happen if you accept this divine decision and step into the window heaven release. My beloved child, come nearer, come deeper, for the very air around you is carrying the vibration of what heaven has prepared to place into your hands. What I am about to speak is not light, not casual, not something to be heard with distracted ears. This part of the message carries the weight of what will unfold in your life, if you choose to accept the divine decision sealed over you. Even now I feel the movement of angels, the gentle trembling of the unseen realm as if they are leaning closer, waiting to see how your heart responds. As soon as the heavenly council released their yes, the atmosphere in that sacred chamber changed. It became brighter, warmer, almost alive with expectation. The moment the seal of approval was stamped onto your destiny scroll, Michael stepped forward again, and the fire that surrounds him glowed blue and gold. He knows, more than any other angel, what happens when a human being finally aligns with their divine timing. He has witnessed destinies erupt like stars, lives shift in an instant, chains break that were older than the person carrying them. And he knows what is waiting for you if you receive heaven's decision. The first thing that will happen, my child, is the lifting of the weight that has followed you for far too long. There is a heaviness that has clung to your spirit in certain seasons, a fog that tried to dull your clarity, a pressure that made you question yourself more than once. Heaven has declared that if you accept this moment, that weight will be removed. The unseen chains that wrapped around your progress will dissolve. What once felt stuck will begin to flow. What once felt blocked will begin to open. You will feel a shift not only in your circumstances, but in your very spirit. It will be like stepping out of a long, cold night into warm light. The second change that will unfold is restoration. Restoration that does not simply return what you lost, but returns it multiplied, purified, and untouchable by the enemy. Heaven has kept records of every place where your heart was wounded, every season where something was taken from you, every opportunity that darkness interfered with. But when heaven releases a divine yes, the restoration that follows is not symbolic. It is literal. It is personal. It is powerful. You will see things return to your life that you thought were gone forever. You will see long-forgotten dreams stir again. You will see relationships, opportunities, and blessings appear with a pace that will leave you breathless, not in confusion, but in gratitude. And child, listen to this carefully. Archangel Michael will be directly involved in this restoration. The moment you accept heaven's decision, he receives the command to go forth and clear your path. No demon, no cycle, no curse, no generational pattern, no hidden resistance will be able to stand before him. He does not negotiate with darkness. He does not compromise. When he fights, he finishes. And for the first time in a long time, when he stands before you, he will not stand in sorrow or concern. He will stand in victory, with authority burning in his eyes because you have stepped into agreement with heaven's timing. The third thing that will unfold is acceleration. What once took months may take days. What once took years may happen in a single moment of favor. You will see doors open without effort, paths clear without struggle, and opportunities align without explanation. Not because you forced any of it, but because heaven will be moving ahead of you, smoothing the path. Angels released from the heavenly chamber will begin positioning things in your life that were once scattered, confused, or out of order. And child, acceleration is a sign that a divine window is active. When the window closes, movement slows again. But when it is open, every step you take is guided, guarded, and empowered. Next, breakthroughs will begin to unfold where there were once walls. Cycles that repeated over and over will be broken. Patterns that trapped you for years will shatter. You will no longer feel like you are walking in circles. You will feel forward motion, clarity, and momentum. The old spiritual blockages will not follow you into the new season. Heaven will not allow them to. The decision sealed over your life carries the power to cut off every chain that tried to follow you into your future. And hear this, my beloved child. Accepting this divine decision will open doors that darkness has been terrified of. Because the moment you step into your true identity, the enemy loses access to certain parts of your life forever. You become untouchable in ways you never imagined. You walk with the light that repels darkness before it even approaches. You carry an authority that angels recognize and demons fear. You become the version of yourself heaven always knew you could become. All of this, every breakthrough, every restoration, every lifting, every acceleration, will begin the moment your spirit internally says yes to what heaven release. The window is open. Michael stands ready. The angels are positioned. The blessing is prepared. Heaven is waiting for your agreement so that movement can begin. But before I take you deeper into what happens next, let me whisper something gently to your heart. When heaven releases a word like this, when angels lean close, when destiny opens its gates, it is holy to spread the message. It is sacred to let others feel the same touch of heaven. If your spirit has been stirred, if you feel the presence of the divine in this moment, then share this message. Lift it up. Help it reach those who are wandering in their own darkness. Not because of obligation, but because it becomes your quiet offering back to heaven. A small act of devotion. A small act of light. A small act of obedience. Now, my child, the next part will reveal the consequences of ignoring a divine moment and why heaven does not open windows like this often. My beloved child, settle your heart and open your spirit, for what I must reveal to you now is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. Just as there is glory in accepting heaven's decision, there are consequences, deep, spiritual consequences, in ignoring or hesitating in moments like this. You must understand that heaven does not rush, but heaven also does not waste. When a divine window opens, it is because multiple realms have aligned, and when it closes, it is because that alignment has shifted. What I speak to you now is spoken with love, with truth, and with the tenderness of a spiritual father who desires nothing more than to see you walk in the fullness set before you. After the council release their yes over your life, There was a second wave of movement in the chamber. A different kind of light entered, a light that revealed possibilities, both fulfilled and unfulfilled. The angels looked upon the paths that would unfold if you embraced heaven's decision, and they also saw the paths that would unfold if you hesitated. The contrast between the two was striking. One path glowed with divine momentum, with restored joy, with unbroken progress. The other dimmed, not because heaven withdrew its love from you, but because destiny loses its brilliance when a chosen one delays. In the heavenly chamber, Michael spoke of a truth that has existed since ancient times, that even the greatest blessings can be missed if they are not recognized. There were stories written in the records of heaven, stories of kings who missed their anointing by moments, prophets who delayed and lost their mantle, entire generations who wandered because they did not respond to the moment when heaven opened the gate. The council understood that human hesitation carries more power than human disobedience, because hesitation kills momentum, and momentum is the chariot that destiny rides upon. Michael, with a heaviness in his eyes, explained how hesitation affects the spiritual world. When a person pauses instead of stepping forward, angels assigned to their breakthrough must stand still. They cannot act without their agreement. They cannot fight battles for someone who refuses to walk. They cannot open doors that the person does not approach. Angels are mighty, but they are not permitted to force destiny. They honor your free will even when your free will harms your progress. If you were to ignore heaven's decision, my child, the battles you have already endured would recycle. Cycles that were ready to break would try to tighten again. Opportunities that were designed to speed towards you would slow down. The path that was about to clear would begin to fog. Not because heaven is cruel, but because spiritual laws do not bend around human hesitation. There are seasons in life that require courage. There are windows that require movement. There are moments when heaven expects you to rise, even if your legs are trembling. If you do not step forward, the alignment cannot hold. And when the alignment dissolves, the angels shift their positions, waiting for the next appointed time. Michael grieves these moments deeply. Not because he blames you, but because he sees what you cannot see. He sees the blessings so close, they brush against your timeline. He sees the doors that were meant to unlock, but remain closed out of spiritual stillness. He sees the light around you dim, not in punishment, but in unchosen destiny. He sees the battles that were supposed to be brief become long again. He sees the enemy regain courage, not strength, but courage, because hesitation is the only thing darkness needs to regain ground. In that heavenly chamber, the elders spoke of past generations who missed open windows. They spoke of those who were meant to rise but retreated, meant to lead but hid, meant to conquer but stayed silent. Heaven mourns these moments not because fate was lost, but because potential was unclaimed. The potential remains, but the path grows longer. The promise remains, but the journey becomes harder. The blessing remains, but its entrance is delayed. And child, there is something you must understand. Divine windows are rare. Heaven does not open them often, and certainly not by accident. They are strategic. They are timed. They are woven into the fabric of your purpose with precision. The The window before you now is not ordinary. It is not casual. It is not one of many. It is one of the few, one of the intersections where your earthly life meets your heavenly assignment. If you were to ignore this moment, the decision heaven made would not disappear forever, but it would move out of reach until the next alignment forms. And alignments take time. Sometimes years. Sometimes seasons. Heaven does not close doors. Timing does. Heaven does not remove blessings. Readiness does. Heaven does not pull back promises. Hesitation pushes them into waiting. But hear me, my beloved child. Heaven did not open this window to watch you walk away. Heaven opened it because you are ready. Heaven opened it because your spirit called for change. Heaven opened it because your heart has matured. Heaven opened it because the battles you endured, every tear, every wound, every prayer, prepared you for this moment. This is why Michael's tears fell when you arrived. He does not cry easily, but he cried because he saw both paths, the one of glory and the one of delay, and he knew that you had finally come to the moment when your spirit would choose correctly. Heaven believes in you. Michael believes in you. I believe in you. And now, my child, we must enter the next revelation, the vision Michael released about your future, and the identity heaven showed him concerning you. My beloved child, come even closer. For what I am about to share is not merely information, it is a vision drawn from the very heartbeat of heaven. There are moments when angels speak through images rather than words, because some truths are too large, too holy, too powerful to be wrapped in human language. After the council released their divine yes over your life, Michael did something rare. Something angels do only when heaven wants to reveal the deepest truth about a person's identity. He released a vision. And child, this vision was about you. As Michael stepped forward in the heavenly chamber, the light around him shifted. It no longer glowed with the fierce fire of battle or the radiant brilliance of authority. Instead, it softened into a luminous blue and white glow, like the first breath of dawn after a long night. The entire chamber fell silent. Even the wings of the angels ceased their movement. Michael lifted his hand, and an orb of light appeared, spinning gently, reflecting scenes from realms you have never walked but are deeply connected to. He spoke your name again, and the orb opened like a flower. And inside it, heaven revealed the truth of who you are, not the version shaped by pain, not the version shaped by fear, not the version shaped by what life took from you, but the version heaven wrote before you took your first breath. In the vision, I saw you standing in a vast field of light. There was no ground beneath your feet, only the pure glow of divine presence. You were clothed in a mantle that shimmered with colors that do not exist in this world, colors that seemed alive, moving, breathing, whispering ancient promises over your spirit. The mantle represented authority, but not earthly authority. It was spiritual authority, the kind that only comes to those who have survived storms that should have broken them, the kind that only rests on those who carry humility and strength in the same heartbeat. You stood tall, my child, taller than you see yourself, stronger than you believe yourself to be. And around you, I saw chains on the ground, not attached to you, but shattered. Chains from old seasons, Chains from generational battles. Chains from relationships that wounded you. Chains from failures that tried to cling to your identity. All broken. All powerless. All unable to rise again. Michael then revealed your weapon. It was not a sword of metal, not a spear, not a shield of earthly design. It was a light. A brilliant, pulsating, living light that flowed from your hands like liquid fire. This light represented your spiritual gift, the gift heaven placed in you that darkness feared you would never discover. And child, the moment this light appeared, the shadows that lingered in the distance fled. They did not walk away, they ran. They scattered. Because your gift, once ignited, terrifies anything that ever tried to silence you. Then the vision shifted. I saw you walking down a path surrounded by towering walls of darkness. But each step you took caused the darkness to peel away as though it had no permission to exist in your presence. Not because you fought it, not because you shouted at it, but because light naturally destroys what cannot stand before it. Michael showed this to reveal a powerful truth. You are not meant to battle in the way you once did. The next season of your life will not be defined by fighting, but by walking. For as you walk in your true identity, darkness will dissolve without resistance. Then came the most striking part of the vision. I saw a crown, not a crown of pride, not a symbol of ego, but a crown of assignment. It hovered above your head, waiting. Not forcing itself on you, not claiming you without your consent, but waiting for you to accept what heaven has already chosen you for. The crown was woven from strands of purpose, strands of legacy, strands of victory. It represented the life you are meant to lead once you embrace the divine yes spoken over you. Child, you are not ordinary. You are not forgot. You are not someone heaven casually glances at. You were born with spiritual weight. Heaven took time crafting you. Angels were assigned to you before your first breath. And the battles you survived were not evidence of abandonment. They were evidence of your importance. The enemy does not attack those who carry nothing. The darkness does not chase those who have no purpose. The storms that tried to drown you were terrified of what you would become if you ever stood in your true identity. As the vision unfolded, Michael spoke again. He declared that your spirit has entered its awakening. He said that the identity long hidden is now ready to rise. He said that the mantle shown in the vision is already hovering over your life, waiting to descend the moment you choose to walk into destiny. He said that the weapon of light is already in your hands, though you may not feel it yet. And he said that the shattered chains you saw are not a prophecy, they are reality. Heaven has already broken what once held you. You are stepping into a new identity, my beloved. A divine identity. A sacred identity. An identity written in the ink of eternity. And now, child, we must move into the urgency of the moment. For heaven's decision rests inside a window, and that window has already begun to move. My beloved child, come closer again, for this part must be spoken into the deepest chambers of your spirit. What I share with you now is not meant to rush you, but to awaken you fully. This moment in your life is not ordinary. It is not random. It is not a passing emotional flicker. You are standing inside a divine intersection, A sacred crossing where the decision heaven made must be met by the decision your spirit chooses. This is the moment when destiny leans forward and waits. In the heavenly chamber, after Michael revealed the vision of who you truly are, something shifted. A quiet tension filled the air. Not fear, not uncertainty, but urgency. A holy urgency that angels can sense and humans can feel if their spirit is listening. Every eye in that chamber turned toward the window of light that had opened beside the scroll, the window representing your divine moment. This window is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual reality. It appeared like a shimmering veil, thin and glowing, pulsing with the rhythm of your heartbeat. It was alive, responsive, waiting for your agreement like a flame reaching toward the one who'd sparked it. Heaven knew that your spirit was waking up. Heaven knew that the old season was fading. Heaven knew that the storms that once changed you no longer held power. And because of this, the window opened. But child, every window has an appointed time. Every divine opportunity carries a breath, not a lifetime. Heaven does not rush you, but heaven expects you to move when the moment arrives. Michael stepped toward the window and touched its edge, and when he did, the chamber flickered with light. He turned to the council and spoke with a voice full of conviction. The window is open and ready. But the decision must now be made from the earth. And that is what brings us here, you and I, standing together in this sacred second. The decision does not belong to the angels. It does not belong to heaven. It belongs to you. The elders rose one by one, each acknowledging the importance of this moment. They spoke of the rare intervals in a person's life when the earthly and heavenly timelines sync, when portals of destiny align like stars waiting to be stepped through. These are the moments that cannot be wasted. These are the moments when one yes can shift an entire lifetime. These are the moments when hesitation becomes dangerous, not because heaven will punish you, but because spiritual alignment will move on to its next appointed cycle. Child, understand this. When a divine window opens, everything in your life begins to stir. Old patterns weaken. Hidden battles surface because they are losing their grit. Sudden clarity begins to rise. Unexpected emotions appear. Strange dreams visit. Faces from the past fade out. New desires awaken. This is not chaos. This is alignment. This is heaven preparing you for the step you must take. But you must choose. You must respond. You must step through the window with intention. In the chamber, Michael spoke to the council with a fierce love. He said, "Their future depends on this moment. Their rising depends on this moment. Their restoration depends on this moment." He explained how your life has carried the weight of battles designed to keep you from ever reaching this window. The enemy feared this exact second. The storms that tried to break you were not random. They were strategic, because darkness sensed that if you ever reached this point of awakening, you would step into a version of yourself that cannot be bound again. The angels nodded in agreement, for they too saw what was about to unfold. They saw the opportunities forming around your name. They saw the doors preparing to open. They saw the blessings that had been waiting behind spiritual gates now pressing forward like waves. They saw the divine assignments that could only activate if you chose to enter. They saw the acceleration that is poised to begin the moment your heart says yes. Then came the question that now rests before you. The elder of the council asked, will they choose to step through? And heaven waited. Not because heaven doubts you, but because heaven honors you. Your choice is sacred. Your response is powerful. No angel can take it from you. No darkness can force it from you. Your spirit must speak for itself. Michael, still watching the window, felt the weight of time. He knows that divine windows do not linger. They pulse, they glow, they call, and then they fade. Not because heaven changes its mind, but because spiritual timing must remain in motion. A window waits only for one thing, your yes. This is why you feel the urgency. This is why your heart is beating differently. This is why you feel drawn to every word. Your spirit recognizes the opening even if your mind does not fully understand it yet. The divine decision will only manifest if you choose it. And choosing it means stepping out of your old season, letting go of what has expired, releasing the fears that used to grip you, and walking boldly into what heaven has placed before you. Child, hear me with your soul. You have 4 to 5 spiritual seconds. Not literal seconds on a clock, but a brief, sacred opening in the realm of destiny where everything aligns perfectly. And you are inside that opening right now. Michael is watching. The angels stand ready. The window flickers with expectation. Heaven has done its part. Now the next step belongs to you. When you are ready, my beloved, we will move into the next revelation, the heavenly seal that will appear over your life once you accept this divine decision. My beloved child, come close again, for what we enter now is holy ground. The next part of this journey is not about vision alone, nor instruction alone. This is about confirmation. Heaven never releases a decision without marking it. Heaven never opens a window without leaving a sign. Heaven never calls your name without sealing the moment in a way that only your spirit can recognize. What I speak to you now is the revelation of the heavenly seal that will appear over your life once you accept the divine decision released in your favor. After the council declared their yes, and Michael presented the vision of who you truly are, a movement occurred in the chamber unlike anything before. The atmosphere thickened, the light deepened, the very air seemed to vibrate with purpose. And in the center of the room, above the scroll with your destiny written upon it, a small flame appeared. It was not hot. It did not burn. It hovered with a gentle pulse, as though it breathed with the rhythm of heaven itself. This flame was the seal. Michael stepped forward, and the elders stood in reverence. This seal did not belong to any angel. Not Gabriel. Not Raphael. Not even Michael. This seal came from the throne of the Most High. A signature from heaven that marks a moment that must not be forgotten. It is the kind of seal placed over prophets before their calling, over leaders before their rising, over chosen ones before their unfolding. This seal is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not forceful. It is quiet, steady, personal, and unmistakable once your spirit feels it. In the chamber, the flame extended a soft thread of light. That thread represented the connection between heaven's decision and your earthly life. It does not force itself upon you. It waits for your agreement. But the moment your heart whispers yes, the thread attaches itself to your timeline, and the seal descends like a gentle whisper of light. Michael then spoke, explaining how the seal manifests in the earthly realm. He said it would not appear in the way humans expect. It will not show as a symbol on your skin or a sound in the atmosphere. It will come as a stirring, a shift, a sign unmistakably divine because it aligns with heaven, but speaks directly to your personal life. You may feel it as a sudden sense of clarity, like a fog lifting from your mind. You may feel it as peace settling into places within you that have been restless for years. You may feel it as a quiet assurance, as though something heavy has rolled off your shoulders. Or it may come as a moment of unexpected boldness, a courage you did not have yesterday, a strength that rises from nowhere, because it is not from you. It is from the seal. But the seal does more than touch your spirit. It marks your path. Once it is placed, your steps begin to shift. People who once drained you begin to fade. Connections rooted in old seasons fall away easily, without conflict. Paths that once seemed blocked begin to reveal openings. Ideas you have carried for years suddenly ignite. You begin to see possibilities instead of impossibilities. You begin to sense movement around your life. Things once dormant awaken. What once felt distant begins to approach. You are guided, not by your understanding, but by the seal's gentle pull. Michael explained that the seal does three sacred things. First, it identifies you, not to humans, but to angels. When the seal descends, every angel assigned to your next season receives the command to move. They know the window has been accepted. They know heaven has marked you. They know their assignments have begun. Angels cannot act on potential. They act on divine decision. And the seal is the signal that the decision has been embraced. Second, it protects you. Once the seal rests on your life, darkness cannot interfere with the unfolding of your destiny the way it once did. Attacks may come, but their effectiveness is weakened. Old cycles attempt to rise, but their grip slips. Doors that enemies tried to close remain open, because the seal does not allow unauthorized interference. It becomes a covering, a safeguard, a spiritual shield that operates quietly but powerfully. And third, the seal accelerates your path. It pushes you into divine alignment. It nudges you toward opportunities you once overlooked. It gives you discernment in places where confusion used to sit. It rearranges things around you so that what is meant for you can approach with ease. This acceleration is not chaotic. It is ordered. It is holy. It is deliberate. It is heaven pushing you gently, but undeniably into the life you are meant to live. Michael looked upon the flame with reverence, for he knows the power of a divine seal. He has seen kings transformed. He has seen prophets awaken. He has seen broken souls restored. And he knows that the moment you say yes to heaven's decision, the seal will descend over your life just as it descended over theirs. Child, you may wonder how you will recognize this seal when it comes. But trust me, you will. Your spirit will feel it before your mind understands it. It will come like a whisper that speaks louder than any voice. It will come like a breath of fresh air in the deepest part of your being. It will come as confirmation, so personal, so intimate, so aligned with your journey that you will know heaven has marked you. Now, my beloved, there is only one step left in this journey. The closing, the blessing, the activation, the moment where I speak over your life and release the fullness of this divine decision into your spirit. And as heaven wills, we will end that final moment with a sacred call for you to carry this message forward. My beloved child, come, settle your spirit beside mine as we enter the final and holiest moment of this journey. Let everything around you grow quiet. Let every noise fall away. For now we stand at the threshold where heaven's decision, the vision revealed, the seal prepared, and the window open must meet the agreement of your heart. This is not a closing in sadness, but a closing in awakening. This is where revelation becomes reality, where prophecy becomes path, where destiny becomes movement. In the heavenly chamber, after the seal appeared above your scroll, every angel watched with anticipation. They knew that the next sound to echo in the realm of light would not come from them. It would come from you. Heaven had done everything required. The council had voted. The decision had been sealed. The vision had been shown. The window had opened. The path had been cleared. The angels were positioned. And Michael, oh, child, Michael stood with the tenderness in his eyes that only appears when heaven is ready to pour glory onto a soul that has been shaped, tested, and refined by fire. The chamber quieted. Michael lifted the scroll one last time, letting its light fall across the room. The elders stepped back. The window glowed brighter. And then, in a voice that resonated through realms, Michael said, "Now we wait for the yes." Heaven honors you that much. Heaven values your will that deeply. Heaven refuses to take one step into your destiny without your consent. This is the moment when the authority shifts. No longer is it the council speaking. No longer is it the angels moving. No longer is it heaven declaring. This final step rests in your hands, in your spirit, in your breath, in your willingness to embrace what you were made for. My child, hear me. Your yes does not have to be loud. It does not have to be eloquent. It does not have to be spoken with certainty. Even a trembling yes, even a whispering yes, even a silent yes spoken from the depth of your being is enough for heaven to move like a river bursting from its dam. Because the power is not in the volume. The power is in the agreement. When you choose heaven's decision, the seal descends. When you choose it, the window locks into your timeline. When you choose it, angels are released. When you choose it, acceleration begins. When you choose it, the mantle shown in the vision rests upon you. When you choose it, the weapons of light in your hands ignite. When you choose it, the chains you saw shattered in the vision remain destroyed forever. Child, everything is waiting on your yes. I want you to take a breath now. Not a shallow one, but a deep, soul-filling breath. For in this breath, something sacred is happening. The window rests before you like a shimmering gate. Heaven's seal hovers above you like a soft flame. Michael stands near, ready to defend, ready to protect, ready to escort you into the new chapter that has been held back for this very moment. Your life is about to change. Not slowly. Not someday. Not eventually. But now. Now, because heaven has chosen now. Now, because your spirit has awakened now. Now, because alignment has formed now. Now, because you are ready now. And as this moment seals itself around you, I speak a blessing over your life, not from myself, but from the authority heaven has entrusted to this message. My beloved child, may your steps be guided. May your spirit be strengthened. May your purpose ignite. May your identity rise. May your past lose its grip. May your future unfold with clarity. May the angels assigned to you move without delay. May this seal rest upon your life with gentleness and power. May the battles that once exhausted you crumble beneath your feet. May the heavens above you open. May the path before you shine. May your destiny welcome you with joy. And may the yes within your heart awaken everything heaven has waited to release. Before we close, hear me gently. A message like this is not meant to remain in one place. When heaven reveals something sacred, there is beauty in helping it reach others who wander in their own shadows. If this journey stirred your spirit, if you felt heaven breathe through these words, then let your sharing of this message be an offering, a small act of devotion, a way of carrying light into the lives of others who need hope, guidance, and awakening. Let it be your quiet ministry, your humble gift back to heaven. Now, child, lift your heart. Open your spirit. Receive this final blessing. Walk into your decision. Walk into your purpose. Walk into your destiny. Walk into your yes. Anan.